Hello everyone and welcome to Tales from Portland, a YouTube channel about deeds and stories in the city of lies and deception, the merchant hub of the land of Thyaxaghar. I am Gotti and I will be your minstrel for today's session. The party, while traveling on the vast sea of swords, got hit by a violent storm that brought them off course and stranded them into an unknown location. The quick response to find a safe place to spend the night in the group saw the party heading to the closest mountain range they could see, the Lifeless Peaks. Through the trip they got attacked by a group of gnoll-looking creatures that quickly got massacred by Rakdos the Behemoth. Feeling that they were part of a bigger tribe, the party decided to increase the walking pace. Finally, they arrived at the cave, where, embraced by the howling of the strong wind and strange noises, they found some time to sleep. In the morning, the party decided to dive deep in the cave to explore them, only to find walls filled with drawings and writings of ancient origins, where mundane activities were overlooked by a religious symbol of sorts, a ring with a cup engraved on it. Driven by the knowledge of life in this place, they moved deeper and deeper into the cave through perils and surprises, only to encounter a small group of merchants. Kindly helped the party, despite the language barriers, by giving them direction to the nearby village, known as Tybluff. You're leaving the mountain behind you, and simultaneously like a plain with covered with forest and plants is sort of opening to you. And the road seems to be straight and nothing else seems to be happening at the moment. And you know that basically the direction for the village is over there, and it's roughly 1 day of travel.
Okay.
You can all give me perception just to kick off the session, and then we'll see what happens.
Starting well.
Yeah. Okay. So most of you are sort of looking around, given what you encountered before going towards the mountain, just not to be surprised by any attack or any monster. So you keep vigilant throughout. Whereas the others sort of look slightly bit further and try to see ahead towards the end of the road, or where you can actually see, and you see that there is someone approaching with a cart ever so slowly, and he seems to be all by himself and moving very very slowly towards you. I will put it on the token layer. You can see him, right?
Yes.
Perfect. What do you want to do?
So we perceive no danger on from the surrounding forest.
No, it seems that everything is quiet and there is no imminent danger.
I just go for the side of the road to give him the cart passage, but I keep an eye on him.
Okay.
I will try to walk towards him and somehow approach him mid-road to talk to him.
Yeah, so you see that is... Oh wait, I forgot to put the grid. Give me 1 second. Yeah, okay. So you see that he's moving very slowly towards on the road towards you, and as soon as you get close to him, you notice that that is basically on the cart. He has food of different variety, and is a human, and is all by himself, moving probably from the village towards the cavern where you came.
I slowly approach him, trying to not to intimidate or scare him, and I wink on it with my hand and say, "Hello, dear merchant. I see that you are transporting some goods to the other side of the mountain. Are you?"
Oh, well, hello. Yes, I am. I'm coming from the village of Tybluff, just right there. I'm bringing some food around, delivering. Well, can I offer you anything? Would you like to buy something?
Well, first of all, it's nice that you're coming from Tybluff because we are headed there, and so I'm excited already to see some citizen of that town. So, and it seems if all the citizens are just as good as you, I would be very happy to reach that town. But yeah, I turn myself on the others and I look at them. Should we try some local food? What do you say?
Well, we should probably
Yes.
do that. We are kind of low in rations, I guess.
You're trading gold?
I'm
currency?
really angry, so yes, definitely.
Well, then let me offer you some of my goods. I have bread, I have eggs, I have cheese. I also have some meat if you're interested.
I would go for egg and cheese, to be honest. But if you only have like very few of them, I would prefer to leave it to my friend Balama because I know that she doesn't really like meat.
I do like meat. I don't like weird meat.
Oh, okay. And then I will take the cheese and eggs for me. Thank you.
Okay, how much of cheese and eggs would you like? I see we do have a certain amount. Let me check. Well. I have 4 big pieces of cheese. I can cut it in small pieces for you if you want. And we have at least 5 dozens of eggs.
But how are your fares? How much do you charge for those?
Well, a hunk of cheese will cost something around a silver piece with nulris.
With what?
With nulris.
Forgive me, good sir. We are not really coming from, or we are not really from here around. So we just say we arrived yesterday in this lovely place, and we are not accustomed with your coins. So I can show you one of my silver pieces, and then you can tell me whether it is good for you or not.
Yeah. So you show the silver pieces, and you say, "May I look at them, please?"
Sure. Have a look at them.
You inspect them, and he said, "Well, this looks very similar to the silver piece that I have, but it doesn't have neither nulleries or berries in it. Where exactly are you from, then?"
We are from a land far, far away from here. There was an accident with our sheep, and tragically we were stranded in the beach just behind these mountains, and I indicate. So essentially, we are just trying to find a place to understand a bit more where we are and maybe organize some transportations back home. So that's why our silver pieces do not really look like yours, or there is no Nullris and Bolris faces on ours. Have I said that right?
Yes, it's Nullris and berries, but yeah,
berries. Okay.
I understand. Well, a silver piece is a silver piece, right? So that would be okay for me. I guess I can move it after without problems. So, as I was saying, a hunk of cheese would be a silver piece, and a dozen of eggs would be 2 silver pieces.
I'll take 2 pieces of cheese and a dozen of eggs. So, and I give him my 4 silver pieces.
Okay. Anything else?
I just have a question for you, good sir. If you would like to answer it.
Sure. Ask ahead.
You mentioned that you wanted a silver with Nullris, but then you said when I showed you my silver piece, you said that it has neither the face of Nullris nor the face of berries on it. So do we understand correctly that you have like different famous people on silver coin? So how is that?
Well, I wouldn't call them famous people, more like gods.
Gods.
This is Nullris, the god of the mountain, and Beris is the god of education. We have both currencies because this part is a bit divided in a way, so we accept both currencies.
One is older than the other one.
That's a very complicated question to answer. Let's say they sort of don't like each other much. That's why we have 2 currencies, and I know where to move what and what to use where. Generally, I use Tybluff to exchange them.
Who doesn't like who?
Well, the 2 gods. So Nullris people do not like Beris people, and vice versa.
Okay. So it's more like a religious thing?
Yeah, it's more like a religious thing. And every currency here works with some religious background, if you will. They sort of like identify who you follow and what is your faith.
That's very interesting.
And what happens, for example, people like us that don't follow any of those sides, at least we are not aware of them, how does people react to that?
Well, it very much depends where you are. For example, in Tybluff, you would not have any problems at all, because they see so many strangers that although there are followers of different religions, they really don't care about much. But the further you go towards the mountain, the more keen they are on Nullris. As for berries, it's pretty much scattered around, and you might get into a fight, or you might just pass around without problems. It very much depends on where you are.
Oh, that's actually fascinating. But for example, in Tybluff, we probably will be able to find some information about maybe books about that.
Oh, there is definitely a chance to do so. Also, because in Tybluff there is like a school in which that works also as a library, so you can try and ask. And there is also, if I remember correctly, a small church of each of the two deities, so plenty to work with if you need.
I see. I see. Well, that sounds really interesting for me. I think thank you for all this information. May I ask how much are you charging for the bread you said you have?
Oh, for the bread, we have normal bread, which is 2 copper piece per loaf. But also we have slightly older bread that is good for a day, not more, and you can have it for half a copper piece per loaf.
Okay. Would you have one silver worth of bread?
Yes, and it starts packing and basically hands you the bread. Say, there you go.
For you is gold as well without no reason there.
Sorry, come again.
For you, gold is gold as well without Norris and Berry.
Yeah, as I said, I can either change them in Tybluff, or I can find other exchange places and sort of see if I can move them around.
Okay,
In any case, it's just a gold coin. So
I'll give him a gold coin. And this is to cover the weird one with the skull and the buffed one behind us. And I
Oh.
will take some good bread.
Okay, then yeah, write down like 1 gold coin of worth of bread, which is yeah. Then I will make the calculation for you after.
No problem.
A lot of ration.
And one last thing, good sir. I am the kind of a collector and of sorts, and I would really love not to waste this opportunity to gather for the first time or have for the first time in my hand a silver piece of mulberries with berries. Would you mind to trade a couple of my silver pieces with one of each?
Well, if you want, I can trade a silver piece of each. If you need it.
That would be really, really nice. Yes, be so good for my collection. Thank you very much.
Yeah, not a problem. Is that you need anything else? Good sirs. Oh, may I ask your name, please? Just in case we cross path once more, and then I remember you.
I'm
Of course you
Redis,
can.
good sir.
I'm Radek. And your name is?
I'm Isaac.
Very pleased to meet you.
I'm very pleased to meet you, and if you're in need of goods or anything, and we cross path again, then I would be more than pleased to help you out.
Do you have a specific place in Tybluff on which we can find you?
No, I don't live there. I pass by as many merchants do, and we every now and then we have a market, and you can certainly find us there, or you can come and look for me in my village of Troutberg.
And to which direction is that village?
It's closer to the Emerald Sea, to the coast. And basically, if you look at the map that you got from Dirdal,
Yeah.
and you start from the Tybluff village, you go all the way up to the coast, and then slightly to the left.
Okay.
It's a bit far away, but you can. You will be more than welcome to visit us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And he moves away.
Well, I
Okay.
think, guys, we have a good some amount of food is gonna be make easier our trip, I would say.
I divided the bread with
Okay, with Rakdos, right?
everyone. I agree with me, but everyone can. It will be shared.
Okay. Okay, even from Radek.
Not playing favorites.
Okay.
Let's go to the village, guys.
So I'm just adding everything we buy or we come across on the on our shared inventory so that we
Sure.
can keep track of whatever we have.
That's great.
Okay, and then you move towards the village. The rest of the day goes rather okay. Do you want to stop for any food supply to eat and to rest, or do you want to push forward towards the village?
I think after a few hours, it would be good to stop and eat something.
It was 1 day of travel, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should rest.
Okay.
I agree.
Long rest or short rest?
Short
for now.
Short rest, I would say.
What time of the day is it?
It's very bright outside, and if you look at the the sun, you notice that it's somehow like sometime in the early afternoon. So you will get there to the city at late afternoon. Let's say like 5-ish, 4-ish.
Yeah, so short rest.
Yeah.
Okay, then you can use one of your ration, and depending if you want to heal up with hit dice.
Can I use the meat of the gnoll-like creatures we skinned the other day?
Sure, absolutely.
Yes, I will go
Let's
for that.
use those, yeah.
Raw and with lots of blood, if possible.
I have with
Oh,
my
okay.
rations.
Okay.
I'm going for the meat, not to because it's
Can
gonna
I chew
spoil
the
with
meat
some
in front
time.
of Balama?
Sure.
I mean, I don't care. I just don't want to eat.
Okay, fine. Just wanted to disturb you. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. So roll me the dice.
The what now?
I think
The
that none
hit dice.
of us lost HP.
Okay, because I can see that Balama has some of it, and even Rakdos is
Yeah,
not full.
I'm not full. I will roll.
I don't know why. Yeah, I know why.
Oh no, because
I remember.
Yeah.
Because the rock slide into the cave. When we started looking around, there was that sort of rock slide into one of the rooms. No, cat, do not
That's
step on
true.
the keyboard, please. And yes.
Yeah, I remember.
So
I'm
yeah.
full again.
Okay.
So can I roll a life dice?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm full.
Perfect. Then the rest goes normally. You can give me even a perception if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Oh my.
We are so good at perception, guys.
It doesn't seem to be any imminent danger around. We're just a little breeze of the wind that moves the leaves around. Nothing out of the ordinary. And then finally, you see in front of you that this small village opens up for you, and you basically arrive at the village, and you arrive from here. I will only give me a second. I will put only No, I will put all of you, and that would be easier. Give me 1 second.
But I'll be honest, I thought this village was going to be more, how can I say, poor, without proper street.
Oh, it's a very it's a village because it's small. I lost the other two. Okay.
You're gone, boys.
There is one.
See, yeah.
And there is two. So basically, one of the first thing that you see in front of you, so effectively here and here, it looks like sort of hostel / tavern of sorts. They're both combined, and you see it mostly because of the name that goes with it, and which I will tell you in a second. And then you see another thing that draws your attention very, very quickly is basically this gigantic construction, which looks like a villa of sorts, and around like few scattered houses and shops. And one of the most interesting things is that the whole place is rather full with people moving around. Some of them are merchants, some other are just normal hard worker people, and they move around as usual. And even though it's late in the afternoon, they're still working. There's still people coming, people going. There's a lot of movement. And so the name of the tavern that you see here, tavern / hostel, is called the Adventurer Rest. And also there is another tavern right here, next, number 8, which is called the Growling Bear. So, what do you want to do?
Well, should we go around and see the city? Take a look around.
Yeah, let's go
maybe
for
find
some
a
sightseeing.
library or something.
Or an armory.
Also,
Okay, so you basically see, as you can see, the numbers are basically the interesting places of the whole village. If you can tell me what you're looking for, or just tell me I want to go to number 4 or number 2 and look around. And depending of, if you tell me I want to look for like an armory, then you can either ask someone, like we can roleplay it in this way. So who's gonna be first?
are there guards around?
Around you, it doesn't seem so. But you can give me perception.
Let's see then.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any guards around.
Well, I think maybe we should find someone to whom we could ask more about the city, this village, or do you guys prefer to walk around?
I'm fine with asking around. Yeah. That can be helpful. I mean, we are not from here, so it's better enough.
Okay.
One question: what is our agenda? Is to get out of here the quickest as possible, or you now curious about this place?
Well, seems like we are stuck here for a while, so why don't making the best out of it and try to see what these people are, how do they live, and let's hear a little bit about their story. And in the end, I was sailing towards new discovery, and this looks to me like very high possibility to make an even bigger discovery.
Yeah, I see. Well, for me, I think I'll only be with you guys until I find the ship, so I can still be on my way. Against you all, you seem very likable.
You two seemed very likable. I imagined you last night onto a barbecue. You looked really tasty.
What?
I don't get what you said, but I don't think I want to know. But I would.
Me too.
Bob, do you get it? Because I don't.
Bob's look at you with this lifeless face, staring at you. So to say, maybe.
I get it.
And we are not close any coastal place here, right? It's in the middle of the fields.
Well, we just came from the coast.
Yeah, but I mean, one with the normal ships not wrecked.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that someone here could direct us to the right place, or we can, if we are lucky enough, we can find even a cartographer or a supply shop that has a map of the surrounding, so that we can find a bigger city.
Yeah, I'm just telling you because if we found it and I go my way, I don't want to hurt your feeling.
No. I mean, at some point, I would also like to go back to Waterdeep. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that needs to hear what I found if my suspicions are true, and I mean, I want my share of fame. You know, here we have a big possibility, and if these lands haven't been discovered by anybody else, we are the first people coming from Faerun to put foot on this land. I mean, think about the consequences of this. Think about all the knowledge that we can take out of this. Think about the fame, all the glory. At some point, I would also like to go home to reclaim all of this for me and for you as well, because you are into this as much as I am. So I'm happy to share my glory and my fame with you.
I mean, I not aim for that, but I don't deny that I'm interested.
Well, so let's maybe ask in one of the taverns. Maybe they can direct us to where we can find a map and maybe some information about where we can find a boat also.
Sure.
Sounds like a good idea.
So
Okay.
I will go towards, I don't know, the Adventure Rest Tavern.
Okay.
And go inside.
Okay, then you can give me 1 second and I will move you right to tavern.
I will follow you, Rekas.
Yeah, myself as well. I want a drink.
I thought you were heading for the growling bear.
Later. I need to warm up before.
Okay. You should be able to see everything, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what you see here is the tavern, which seems to be still filled with plenty of people. There are though like few tables, and for example, this table is free, and also you can share the table with those two customers. And the bartender looks very, very busy serving this what seems to be rather drunk person, which you can immediately recognize that he's rather drunk. And then you see two people, like this one and this one, that seems to be like merchants, of sorts. They have like big bags, and they show around some of their merchandise, and that's pretty much what you can see once you enter.
The guy is as drunk that he's wobbling from the chair. I'll go here towards the bar
Mhm.
and wait for a moment when I can ask him.
I will
Okay.
stay in this table.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
I will share a table with these people and try to start a discussion with them.
I will go for the bartender and asking for some ale.
Okay. Then for the two that are at the by the bartender, you see that he's sort of trying to let the drunk guy. So he serves another drink. He pulls another drink, but then he says, "This is the last drink. Then you have to get out. I don't want any trouble here." And then he looks at you and he says, "Oh, new faces. I like new. Hello. What can I help you with?"
Hello, good sir. I'd say, I don't know, 4 ale for us, and maybe a moment of your time for a question or two.
Well, I always have time to discuss. This is my job overall. And he starts pouring the ale, and he says, "You want a pint of ale, right?"
Yeah.
Okay, then he starts to pour 4 pints of ale. It's a pretty normal beer, nothing fancy, like a Pils sort of beer.
Yeah.
And then while he's pouring, he says, "Well, what do you want to talk about, my good friend?"
Well, as you said, we're new faces around, and we happen to be looking for understanding, maybe more about this place, and maybe find a map or a place where we can gather more information about all of this region. Maybe a library.
Well, then this is definitely not the place. As you may see, this is a tavern. People here get drunk and have a good time. If you're looking for information, there is a school right in the village. They have some books, they have some literate people. They probably can help you more than I can do.
Well, but you must hear many things around this place. People wandering around, people with information.
Well, I hear stories, plenty of merchant stories. I hear many of them every day, but I don't know how to give you information of the place if you don't know the place. Where are you from anyway? And he starts, basically he puts the beer onto the counter, like all the 4, and then he says, "This would be 4 silver pieces, please."
I throw 5 to him.
Okay. He takes the silver pieces, looks at them, and he says, well, damn be my name. This is not nulris nor berries. You must be from far away.
Yeah, indeed we are.
And may I ask from where exactly?
We come from Waterdeep. We had a problem in our ship, and we are wandering around this region.
Waterdeep. Is that from the south?
Well, as you see, as I'm not sure exactly where we are, like which lands are those, I don't know exactly the direction for our homeland. How is it called, this whole place?
This is the land of Thyaxaghar. Everyone knows that. At least that's what we call it. It has many names. Depending, from the south they call it Thyaxaghar. From the north they call it, from us we call it Thyaxaghar. I heard people call it Taxarin. It has many names.
see. Have I ever heard about it?
You heard from the dwarves from the cave. The cave you
Yeah,
accepted this.
but I mean, like, beside of that, I never heard about it, like in books or anything.
Give me a history. I mean, you've heard of lands far away from the circles, or from the land that you're used to, but the name itself sort of, like, not the name per se, but the combination of the name and probably one of them sort of matches the memory that you have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Has a sort of rings a bell, and you remember it. If you remember correctly, this would be like a place very, very keen to religion and not so advanced in many ways, and socially and culturally.
Okay, and from that information that I have, would I know if it is like north or south from our lands?
I mean, there is no exact like direction, as in no cardinal direction, because no one has ever really went there because it wasn't worth enough, because of it being not very much evolved, and therefore there is not much to work with in the sense of information history books.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's interesting, my good sir. So indeed, I've heard about it, but I don't know much about this place. But it's good that I see that people. And how people, how do you like here?
Well, I can complain. I have my own place. I see many people passing by. I hear stories, and I get to have a laugh every now and then. It's a fine life. Tell me more about you. Tell me stories about your place, where you're from. I would like to tell them at some point, someday, when the place is full and packed, and there will be people singing and in need of new, engaging and interesting stories to tell.
Well, I think we can talk about the land. I don't have much, as you can see, I'm more a books guy. I don't know much about. I did not do many things on the lands, but I believe my friends will have for sure some interesting things to share with you. We will definitely share some stuff. I'll bring the pints to them, and we'll definitely talk to you again.
Absolutely, I'll be here waiting and serving as usual.
Thanks. And I return towards the tables.
Okay.
With the pint.
Meanwhile, Radek, what do you want to do on the shared table?
Okay. Well, I want to approach the table. Are the two people there drinking, eating, just talking?
The woman dressed in blue, she's drinking a pint. The other one in front of her already finished his pint, and they're sort of chit-chatting between them. So, the language seems to be... what language do you know?
All but the relevant one. Common, Elvish, Primordial, Sylvan, Abyssal, Gnomish, and Draconic.
Yeah, very useful.
You don't really... At first glance, you don't really get what they're talking, but immediately after, you sort of bring back, like in your head, you connect the dots, and the language that they're speaking is not very different from the dwarves you encountered before in the cave. They look dwarvish, but slightly taller than a dwarf, with human, like purely humanoid type of the details, but with they exactly look like human with long beard like dwarves, but slightly taller than dwarves are. The dwarves that you know, at least.
Okay. I would sit. Sorry. I would sit where my token stays, with my back against the wall. Hello, friends and strangers. Can I take this seat? Is it already taken?
Which language you?
I try to use the same kind of combination of common and the other ones that I used with the dwarves to make myself understood.
Okay. And the woman turns to you and she says, "Yeah, sure, this is free as long as you have a beer next to you."
Is Vrekas already came back and gave us the beer or not yet?
Yeah, it's basically it came with a beer and then you moved towards.
Okay. Yeah, seems like I'm all set then, and I sit down. I take a sip, and then I say, "Well, it's a lovely afternoon, isn't it? So much going on in these days. But tell me, this is a very nice town. Are you happy to live here?"
Well, I wouldn't call it town. It's much smaller. If you take all the merchant out, there is really nothing to do. There are, times during the year in which we just come here and drink and we don't do much. But yeah, on general basis, it's okay. I like living here. And then she looks at you once again and says, "You speak a weird accent. Are you from around here?"
You are very perceptive, madam. No, indeed, I'm not from around here. I come from a distant land. Mainly because let's say that I started a very long trip that I hope it will bring me to discover new things and to learn new cultures. And I thought that maybe this village could give me some insight in this whole land. Like, for example, I don't know. Have you ever heard about, or can you tell me something about the history of this village, or can you tell me about some where I can find some more information on the land we are at the moment? Like, for example, how do you call this region?
Oh, we don't really have region. We are the northern part. We do have, how should I put it? We are very small villages controlled by a lord of sorts or a lady, and we interact with each other for goods, for fights when they happen, for religion, and that's pretty much it.
Sorry, this village or just a group of villages that is formed in the north?
Oh, it's a group of villages that are on the north part. There is North Pass not far away from here on the mountain. On top of the mountain, there is Glenharm, which is very close to the Lantern, a place that you would like to avoid. There is Ximnar, which is a slightly above slightly beyond the mountain, but still the same region. There is also Troutberg, which is on the other side. Plenty of villages around.
I've heard of that before. Yeah, there's a merchant that travels from here and there every once in a while. We met him this morning. Seems like a rather nice person.
Oh, well, we see plenty of merchants, so I'm sure he's a good person, and his business is going well. If you're not into that, then it's not much to go around, unless you like working on the fields, and pretty much what we do. And she drinks again and again, and she increases the speed of drinking, basically. Whereas the guy in front of her, he sort of looks at the pint that is completely finished. He looks at the bartender. He raises his hand, doesn't say anything. The bartender nods, and then he's still there. He's not paying much attention to you.
Say, good lady, what is your name? I'm Radek, and if you wish to, I would like to entertain myself with your stories and listen to what you have to say about this village and the surroundings for a little longer. Can I interest you in another beer, maybe?
Well, if it's beer what you're offering, then I can hardly say no. By the way, my name is Hutane.
Nice to meet you, Hutane. I'm Radek.
Well, nice to meet you. I'm sure that we will get along fine as long as you keep bringing beer.
Say, you
and
were saying that...
she shots and finishes the beer.
Wow. Wow. Some stomach you have there. Say, you were saying that this northern region here is controlled by a lord or a lady. Do you happen to know their name or where they live?
Well, yes, her name is Idla Bolbets, and just a second, I will write it on the chat. Her name is Idla Bolbets. She is a elf-ish diplomat. She came in here a few years ago, like something like 10 to 15 years ago, and she started making everything about education and knowledge, and everything is so important nowadays and so expensive. But anyway, she lives just in the middle of the village. I'm sure you do notice the big villa in the middle.
Oh yes, so the lady controlling this whole region is right here in Tybluff? Wow, are we lucky.
Well, this is a merchant hub in a way, a very small merchant. I'm sure that there's a lot of money here to gain, to steal. Anyway,
to steal? Is there a lot of
I
criminality?
finished my beer.
I will raise my hand towards the barkeeper to bring 2 other beers.
Okay, the bartender nods.
And steal. So is there a lot of criminality here?
Well, depends what you define as criminality. No one gets really killed much. Merchants might get stuff stolen every now and then. Certainly nothing I can relate to, but.
And it seems. So did I understand correctly? You said that this lady that controls this region, this Lady Idla Bolbets, she arrived here since 10, 15 years. So she's also not from this land? originally? You haven't met her?
We saw her a couple of times, never spoke to her or anything. Not that I think I'm allowed to do so. She's sort of noble-ish. Aren't elves always noble somehow?
But this is very interesting. So you know what an elf is. So are there many elves here around? Because at the moment,
unfortunately, yes. There is a city of elves. A couple of weeks of travel from here. On the other side of the mountain, next to the forest. That's probably where Idla came.
Why, unfortunately?
Well, they came here, they decided that they wanted to rule the village and the region and everything. They give their law, give their religion, they imposing themselves, and I'm just here, a normal town folk.
And
working,
pardon my
working,
impertinence, but you said yes to all this? You haven't even tried to rebel a little bit?
Well, how could we?
I don't know. Power of the people? The power of the masses?
She basically turns towards you, she gives you a little grin, and then she started drinking to muffle the laughter. And then she puts the glass down, and she says, "Anyway, enough about me. What about you? Who are you? Where are you from? What type of goods are you selling? Is this a scam for me to buy something, or is there more to it?"
Well, my friend, as I told you, my name is Vadek, and I don't think you know the land from which I'm coming from, I guess. But anyway, I come from a city named Waterdeep. It's a very big city, and it's very famous in my land of origin, which is very, very far away from here. And unfortunately, I arrived here under unfortunate circumstances, and I guess I will have to spend some time here around. That's why I'm very curious, because for a living, I try to find out more information about our history, so where we come from, who were our ancestors, and all the stories that time somehow is trying to wash away. I am trying to find them, discover them, and preserve them for our future generation to come.
Meanwhile, you're talking, all of you can hear from this guy, that he stands up and he says, "Nom throwing!" and everyone is sort of like, "Yeah!" and he's like, "Yes, nom throwing!" and then the whole tavern goes a little bit festive, and the woman looks at you and she says, "Well, if you'll excuse me, there is some game that I'd like to play now." And she sort of moves towards the drunken guy.
Sure. I will not certainly be the one that is preventing you from doing that, but if you allow me, I would like to participate as a spectator. It would be very interesting to see this game from me.
Sure. And then she moves. Meanwhile, Valama and Ragdos, what do you want to do before the game starts?
I want to draw my index, just in case.
Okay.
What?
Let's have some fun.
Okay.
I don't think that item will be necessary here. You can use your fists.
Even better.
Yep. I want to look at the people here. There is someone look like shady. Not
Give me an insight. Sorry, an investigation or perception, whichever is.
I'm terrible at both.
Well, what you see around is either a bunch of almost like tipsy people or merchants that are moving around trying to sell their stuff each and every table, and you have the worry that you're going to be next. And the super drunken guy that's 10 and says, "No, I'm throwing."
Okay, I just sit there waiting for the game.
Okay. Anything else you want to do before the game? Or any of you?
No, I'm fine.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, nothing.
I would be just like relaying the information that I got before, but just that so far.
Okay. So you see that one of the waitress comes back with a bunch of terracotta gnomes, and she's not bringing by by hand, but she comes with a cart full of them, so they seems to be quite heavy. And the drunken guy, who's like very very skinny, takes one, and it takes like a couple of minutes to even lift one of them, and then he turns towards this area, and you see like grunting like, "Oh!" And he throw one of the gnome, which goes like 10 feet, so it lands somewhere around here, and everyone sort of starts clapping, "Yeah, bravo!" And then they're basically piling up each and every one of them to do this and throw gnomes to see who's throwing.
You mean gnomes as a race?
They look like no, I mean they look exactly like a gnome as a race, but they're made of terracotta. They're not proper gnomes.
What is a terracotta? I don't know.
It's like
clay,
ceramic.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clay. Yeah.
Clay.
Oh, okay.
I thought that terracotta was sort of international. But yeah. But I think that clay is much better. Yes. Okay. And then they're basically sort of competing to see who's throwing further away the gnome. This goes on for at least few. This goes at least for like 20 minutes to half an hour if you stay for that long. Or if you want to participate, then you can freely go there.
I will definitely participate and try to throw a gnome.
Myself as well. I want to throw the furthest away the gnome. I want to win this.
So who's gonna go first?
Raktos, please.
Thanks.
What's your strength?
Modifier.
Yeah, modifier and overall value.
16 plus 3.
Okay. Then give me athletics.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, you see that at first, you go there like super confident, feeling that this seems to be easy, but the gnome is actually heavier than what it looks like.
Thought.
Yeah, than what you thought. And then once you get used to it, you throw the gnome, and actually goes for like 10 feet.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, this actually was rather different because I made a boo-boo. Because the guy threw here, which is 5 feet, and then you threw the blue one, which is 10 feet.
Okay.
And everyone was like, whoa, bravo, yay!
Are these gnomes like, do they break when they touch the floor again?
Yeah, like it all small little pieces. And you see that although they seem heavy, when they open inside, there is basically just sand and or something that makes them heavy. But the outcome of it is rather fragile. And as soon as they touch the ground, they get destroyed in tiny little pieces. And the barman, as soon as he sees this nice straw, he says, well, if you can beat me, I will have to give you a keg of beer all for yourself.
Oh, then I'm super into this now.
Okay, and then we can have athletics between us. So you roll athletics once again, and I do it as well.
Fuck! I just went on the 20 and then shifted.
That's some bad luck.
And yeah, basically it threw the gnome all the way to
the end.
Yeah, all the way to the end, exactly. So it's somewhere there. And it says, if you can throw it there already, I'll be comfortable enough. And you throw it like somewhere like here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to take me at this game? There's a keg of beer, and you see people sort of moving there, try to do their best, but no one is getting not even closer to Rakdos or the.
Well, I don't drink, but I will try to.
Okay,
Yeah.
Go for it. Give me athletics, and your strength is
+1.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes somewhere like here, roughly.
Oh, the lady tried.
While they are
I don't know if I should try. Just to
while
see
they
what
are
happens.
like launching this gnome, I want to distract one of them and try to understand if there is any way that I can cheat at this game.
How do you want to know if there is? Say it again, please.
I mean, I want to examine one of these small gnome statues and see if there is and try to think about a possible way to cheat at this game.
Okay, give me intelligence first.
Plain intelligence or
plain intelligence, because you see all the details that you need to see about the gnome. It's just a matter of putting everything together and see. Well, you see that each and every one of them is using brute force to throw the gnome, and so if you can make it look like you're using brute force, but by the help of magic or different way of throwing the gnome, like different setup of throwing. So what they do, they sort of take it up, putting it in their shoulder, and then like a weight, they just throw it.
As someone stated precisely the rule of the game.
No, because everyone knows, so there is no need of repeating the rules, and Rakdos didn't ask.
Okay, so I would like to try.
Okay.
But before doing that, I go to the counter and say to the bartender, "Can you? I mean, I've never done this before, but this sounds fun. So can you please state the rules of the game for me?"
Yes, I can. Normally, this should be done with proper gnomes. So then you can throw willing gnomes, unwilling gnomes, with one arm, with two arms, very heavy gnomes. You can do it in many ways. But since we do not have many of them here, we made this clay version of them. Well, all you need to do is to grab the gnome, throw it as far as you can. This is a very easy version of the proper game, which states the rule of when to throw the gnome, when not to throw a gnome, some environmental factors, but we don't care about it here. We just put it for fun, and who wins and can beat me gets a keg of beer.
So the most important point is that the gnome must be thrown, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me give a try. For the fun of it.
I will touch his shoulder and I say to him, I know you can do it, and I will cast guidance on him.
Ooh,
okay.
Nice. Thank you.
Oh, actually, I don't have guidance.
Damn it.
Sorry. I thought I had.
That's disappointing.
Wait. But why did I thought I have it?
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't have it. Yeah. God damn it.
So then you don't use it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a good way to to give me the illusion of success. Thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought it was bless. I confunded with bless. I had bless.
Uh-huh.
I had bless. Yeah, sorry.
And now you have a placebo effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So, do we need to roll on athletics, right?
Well, tell me, how do you want to do it?
Because instead of it's clearly too complicated and maybe too stressful for me to lift it up and put it in my shoulder and throw it up with brute force. I would like to somehow make a throw which is more gracious, and maybe it uses more like the momentum that my body can imprint, and the and the weight of the gnome itself, in order to maybe gain a bit of speed on it when I throw it.
Okay, so it's just running and throw, basically.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. Give me by brute force still, right?
Not really. I would really try to be a bit more swift than just brute force. I will try to probably imprint a bit of momentum and even a bit of speed. This might be also useful.
Okay, give me a plain dexterity, or yeah, give me a plain dexterity. You realize very quickly that although you try to imprint some momentum on them, they're still rather heavy to do so. So unless you really lift them up and then you imprint momentum on them, it's really hard to use the strategy.
Well, I guess I will go for brute force then. I mean, brute force.
Okay.
Apologies.
Would I be able to even lift one of those?
What's your strength?
If I can, you can.
8. What's your strength, Radek?
8 as well.
Okay, then yes. Yeah, you can.
Okay, so...
You might be to roll with disadvantage because they're slightly heavy if you do it by brute force.
Throw it! I believe in you!
I'll basically try to... looking at the way, I'll try to, of course, use my strength, but trying to use the body as a, like, using like both hands in a way on which I try to guide the most like favorable like way the thing will be to try to use like less strength possible to compensate for my weakness, basically.
Okay. Still give me athletics with disadvantage, but you get some bonus out of it after.
Athletics, okay. What the fuck?
Nice. So he's like throwing it super far away.
So although you get that they're very, very heavy to begin with, you sort of manage to get the equilibrium position and then use that to your advantage. And although you think that it wouldn't go that far, you still manage to get up to. Sorry, you still manage to get up to the white dot.
I'm okay with myself. I think I'm.
Can I
I've
have my
done
throw
enough.
as well? My brute force try.
Yeah, you can have. All of you can have one more go if you want.
I feel lucky. With disadvantage.
Yeah.
I feel very lucky. Come on.
I want that keg of beer. So.
Ah!
No.
Unfortunately, that goes right in the alley of the drunk guy.
Damn.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That goes all the way up to the bartender. So you put it up to there.
Nice.
Balama, you want to try once more?
Of course. I'm trying to file here.
Oh, then you lift it up,
it.
but you lose balance and you fall all the way down, and you don't like the clay gnome breaks exactly where you're standing.
Oh, I got butter in my hands. Sorry.
Then you see that the waitresses are sort of. Oh yeah, go for
my
it.
last one. Yeah, it's. I have nothing that I can use. Fuck. I really wanted something, but I don't.
Is worse than the one that you threw before. Yeah. You see that after the waitresses are sort of cleaning the place up from all the pieces of clay. This will take some time, and meanwhile the bartender, spills some beer, and he gives to all of you, and then goes to Rakdos, and he takes his arm, and he says, "Well, we have a victory! Someone who can finally throw some gnomes. Here we chant for what's your name, son?
Rakdos.
For Rakdos. A keg of beer for him, and get drunk all together." And he basically tells you after that if you want the keg of beer, you should wait just up until the waitresses sort of clean up the place, and then you will get a keg of beer.
Lovely.
And then people started drinking, and they get rather drunk. Do you want to drink up to the point of getting drunk, or do you want to behave yourself?
Me?
All of you.
I don't know what behave means, so.
Okay, so that means Constitution.
I'll try to behave.
Okay.
I will not drink that much.
Okay.
Constitution saving throw.
I'll be slightly
saving
above
throw.
what I should, so I'm gonna do Constitution also.
Okay, go for it.
Jesus.
So, Rakdos, you get very much into the moment because you want the keg of beer, you want to let the party begin, and you start drinking, and you pass the beer left and right. You basically spend almost between all of you almost a gold pieces worth of beer, and because of that, both Rekas and Rakdos they get, so Rakdos gets quite tipsy, whereas Rekas sort of after a few beers he fell on the ground, and you sort of lose conscious for at least half an hour.
Okay.
I'm not sharing a room this night. Forget about it.
Yeah, I'd rather have one for myself as well.
Just when I'm about to order the last beer, I go to the counter and ask the bartender whether there's a place we can crash this night, or whether this also offers. So this tavern also offers like rooms, or is there something else similar in the city?
Oh, this place definitely offers some rooms, and we have plenty free for you if you want to share, or we can offer a double, we can offer a single, we can offer one room for the four of you.
I will take a single for me.
Okay.
Let's hear the prices. We are not the most rich people, but I would probably go for a single as well, and I will get the double for my two drunken friends there.
So the room goes from the single. So there are two different types of singles. Let's call it noble single, as in the most expensive one, which goes for 2 gold pieces per night. The normal single, which goes for 1 gold pieces per night, and the double goes for 50 silver. And the quadruple goes for 10 silver.
Is there a common room?
Come again, sorry.
Is there a common room?
In the sense, like, what do you mean?
A room where everybody can sleep together.
Yeah, there is the quadruple room.
Oh, okay. And then you pay 10 silver per spot in that room.
Yes, 10 silver per spot, and the double is 50 per spot, and the single is the double is 40 silver pieces per spot.
Per person,
and then the single is 1 gold pieces, and the single fancy is 2 gold pieces.
Okay.
What is the conversion of copper, silver, and gold here?
100 silver. 100 silver is 1 gold.
Oh, okay. I was doing 10. Okay.
Yeah, no.
So I think I overbought a lot of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, shit.
Okay. So I don't know, Balam. What do you think? I would go 2 singles, and I would put these 2 gentlemen in the common room.
I think I will go with Rumble single with 1 gold piece each night. But I want to ask you, sir. I looked at the bartender. Do you know any job offer that is being offered here in this lovely village?
Well, yes, I'm sure that I've heard of many merchants around asking for help into escorting them from point to point, especially if they want to pass through the mountains. And I've heard of people looking for explorers or adventurers to sort of help in tracking down you and anything trinkets to get, sort of like a pawn shop that we have in the village. There is plenty to go around if you ask. Absolutely.
Should we look into that later, rather? Because we will run out of gold soon enough.
And that's a very good idea. I had the same idea in mind. Be a good idea. Maybe we can rest for today. It has been a long day. We traveled. Traveled most of the day, and then tomorrow we were scouting of the village and tried to find something to do in some way to gain some currency. Yeah, that's
sure.
Actually very good.
We have to work today yet? Yeah.
No. Another day. You can rest now.
Thanks.
So then we will take 2 singles and let's say a double. let's be nice with the drunken people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will pay for my single, and I will also pay for the double.
Okay.
And then I asked the bartender, "Do you mind if I ask you something maybe a bit weird? But I'm a collectionist of sort, or a collector of sort, and I recently learned that you have very nicely carved coins in this land that I'm not used to. So I already have 2 silver pieces, 2 different images. Are the copper pieces engraved as well?
Oh, every coin is engraved either nulris or berries.
Would you mind trading a couple of my coppers for a couple of these coppers?
Let me see your coppers, please. I want to see if they're marketable.
I just show him a couple of copper pieces.
He sort of compares his copper piece and your copper piece. He says, well, good enough for me. And then he trades. And he gives you the one of each.
And I guess that you all have the same image on the golden pieces.
Yes. As I said, every coin has.
Would you mind trading those as well?
No, absolutely not. As long as it's gold and not anything else, I'm pretty okay with it.
Okay, thank you very much. My collection grows bigger and bigger every second. So happy.
Just beware where you use those coins. If you use the wrong image in the wrong place, then you might get into some trouble.
Thank
you here, but around.
Thank you for the advice, but I'm a collector, so these coins will end in my private collection and not be used to be spent around.
Okay. Definitely not my place to be. So,
do you happen to know how many different gods are represented on your coins? Any names?
Well, in this part there are only 2, but I'm pretty certain that around the whole land there are plenty more.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. And I upstairs towards my nice, cozy single room.
Okay. Anyone else wants to do something before going to bed?
I don't think I can do much. So
you're just drunk. You and Lactos are still partying the night out, but you're rather drunk.
I will take a walk around the village.
Okay.
Just to see how is the place with the people going around, the guards, if there are some shady people around.
Do you want me to put the map so you can tell me?
No, it's just we just want to see the
okay, yeah.
The general situation of.
Okay, give me a perception, unless you want to use your passive one.
Definitely not. My passive is 9.
Well,
say
okay.
One higher.
So what you notice around is that even though it's evening and there are still merchants coming and going and moving, there are a couple of soldiers, or well, better say guards, close to the big villa in the center of the town. Actually, let me do this. It's then easier for me. So there are guards around this villa and merchants around, moving, going by with carts. Some of them stopping and going inside the hostel in which you're now. Some of them moving past the hostel and trying to find another place to be. And you hear someone discussing, like mostly merchant discussing between them. And what they're saying is basically is still It's not the language that you heard before in the cave. It's very much similar to your common, effectively, just slightly different dialect, but you can understand practically 80% of it.
Okay.
And they're basically discussing about all the goods, as in trinkets and treasures and all the stuff that are still hidden underneath the mountain, and how they heard about stories of adventurers going there and getting lost or never to return, but every one of them claims to have seen or to have heard from very, very trustworthy way, in a very trustworthy way, to be sure that there are so many treasures, so many rare artifacts and gold, and it's like a mountain of gold, but no one has ever come back from that trip, and all of them wanted to put their hands in this gold, because then they would become rich and they could move around to the south of the land.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That is pretty much what you hear.
Okay, then I go to my room.
Okay.